Hello and welcome to my workshop. We're getting started on a new project here, and this is going to be to enter into the Scale Builders Guild Military Build-Off Challenge. So what I chose is a Chevrolet CMP Type 11. Predominantly these are Chevrolets, but I've read that I believe Ford made some and possibly Dodge and other manufacturers would have made this CMP and just put their logo on the front. It was made to the military spec. And much like many of the military vehicles of the time, they were used for a multitude of different uses. You'd have ambulance boxes in the back, or different cargo boxes, or all kinds of different uses for the truck. But what I'm going to go for is just your standard pickup truck. From the side and the back, it looks pretty normal. But what really drew me to this, and pardon the sketch, I'm not the best sketch artist here in the world, and I did my best, is the front. And I will put pictures of the truck that inspired this. The front is just such a unique, with the angular lines and the way it's built out. This front-on view really doesn't do it justice. But then here's the top view, and you can kind of see how all these angles are coming in. It's got the traditional tapered-in cab, much like a semi-truck, older style semi-trucks, or a lot of the older vehicles have the wider cab in the back and they taper into the front. And then they have these big giant white fenders on them. The bed is pretty much just as plain as you can imagine. It's just a square box, got a little step side built into the bed. And the only other thing I guess somewhat unique about this is I'm planning on building my own chassis. So from the front forward, all of this dimension will be made to match an SCX-10, and I plan on using the chassis mounted servo, all the components from the SCX-10-2 kit, and grafting them onto my chassis. But in the back it flares out very wide, and in the back it's going to be just essentially flat the whole way through, so you can see that better from the side. So this is the angle, the front end of a SCX-10 Now it's a lot wider, but that's fine. And like I said, the back is just going to be flat, running all the way out to the end. Now I ran out of paper here, so there's actually, the truck goes about a little bit more past, and I've written down the dimension I'm looking for, 250 millimeters, which brings it out, a good bit past the end of the page. But so that's the general idea. I'm gonna get started on probably building the bed. Just get myself back into doing the styrene work. I've been doing other things, and something nice and simple, and then jump in and start tackling the cab, and kind of probably work my way forward once I get a general idea of what I'm shooting for. So that's the next build, and let's get started with that. So I was able to create the basic structure of the rear of this truck here. I have a simulated tailgate here. All this will be filled in, and all the gaps filled in and everything. But I think so far it's coming together pretty good. Now this box will pretty much sit right down on the chassis rails, and I'm going to need to next work on building out the fenders for this. But I think before that, I need to get any last details, completed on here, and then start trimming some of the edges and getting some of these seams filled in. It'll be a lot easier to do the sanding and filling while this thing is without a bunch of other stuff in the way. You can do full strokes of sanding and sand on sandpaper at the bottom like that. So that's probably the next step, is just to get some of these seams cleaned up and do a lot of sanding. So I think that's what we'll get to next. Okay, so I think we've made some pretty good progress on this. We have the basic structure of the rear. We have the tailgate starting to get formed. These little flanges in the back where the tail lights will be, and eventually there'll be some chain to simulate where the tailgate would open. We're going to have to add some fenders on the side, and as you how well you can see, but when you line this up on the paper, you can see the fenders stick out a pretty fair amount. So the bed's pretty narrow, so the fenders will go up under this lip and then extend out probably a good 40 millimeters, 30-40 millimeters out, probably 30 millimeters out on either side, and that'll put it at just about a good width for the most chassis, because the front was what we'll have to move to next. It also has the fenders that are sticking way out, and they match up in line with the rear fenders when you have this little step spot in between the two. So anyway, good progress on this. So we got a lot of the seams filled in and sanded back. Still more work to go, but it's getting there. And until then, we'll see you on the rocks.